Welcome back to Mike A. Myers Stadium. Right before the break, we had like a halftime, but this time we are about to start the second half of the game.
But really, Cameron only had a couple clear shots on Justice. Ultimately, it was Haugen's beautiful through ball in behind the back line here in space where Missimo was able to get a breakaway one-on-one. Dietrich tried to cut down the angle, but such a clinical finish there from Lexi Missimo, finding that far post.
First goal contribution for Madison Haugen for her new team here at Texas, and she knew exactly where to find it, going to the one with the 10 on her back.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to stay up high, and you're going to see Missimo kind of toe that back line, looking for those through balls. Hollywood doing a good job turning that corner, getting some shots off. Texas is going to be pleased with those 13 shots, but probably not as pleased with the efficiency. They want more of those shots on goal, more of those shots challenging Dietrich. And on the flip side, Houston just needs to take care of the ball a little bit better so that they have it longer. When they do find Maddox up top, it is dangerous. It's just too few and far between. They need to find that space kind of in front of her, link up with her just like Alonso did on that last shot. And then do more with those free kicks, those corner kicks, those set pieces. Challenge Justice even more by finding someone's head on the ball.
Well, again, kudos to Houston. They hold Texas to 1 goal in the first half, but it's a Cougars team that's seen Texas last spring and at the end of last year. They were able to witness Lexi Missimo become the all-time single-season goal scorer for Texas. Lexi would have a meaningful brace in that matchup against Houston. Again, her breakout season last year with those 26 goals, setting a new standard here at Texas.
Well, and she'll never be caught, I don't think, here at the University of Texas, especially being able to have that 5th year, which going forward, after the COVID players are out of the system, there's no other players going to have that opportunity to just push all of these records. So I think it's going to be tough to
And
catch
tomorrow
Lexi
we'll be
Missimo
closing out on this week.
She really has left a legacy.
Could I argue there's somebody literally on the field right now with Lexi who could catch her?
Yeah, I think so.
And if she does, it's Lexi's fault for passing her the ball. Justice, meanwhile, just wants to get a clean sheet. 10 shutouts last year by a Texas team that we love to talk about the offensive renaissance here in the state capital, but the defense is one of the better ones in the nation as well.
Yeah, definitely. You saw Byers there as the player that Ligon was talking about, who is on the heels of Lexi Missimo, her best friend, teammate growing up together, but they couldn't be successful without the consistency of their defense.
And we are underway in the second half, and here we go.
But the defense has been so solid for Texas the last couple of years, and it's just a matter of putting it together at the end of the year when it really does count. They did so last year in the Big 12 tournament. They beat a talented BYU team in that final. Can they carry that consistency, though, game to game throughout a long, tired season and then deep into the postseason? That's what's so challenging for good teams.
Back underway here in the early going of the second half here at Mike A. Myers Stadium. Longhorns trying to find that elusive insurance goal. And then perhaps the floodgates start to open up again. Minimal subs for either of these two teams so far. Byers with a quick touch could not get that ball to settle. For Houston, one of the standouts for them was Dietrich back in goal. She gave up about 1.7 goals per contest last year. Byers with the through ball. Texas looking for that second strike. The offside flag is up across the way. And our referee tonight, Jonathan Weiner, along with assistant referees John Villalobos and Emily Donahue. Don Sanchez, our 4th official. And with Texas now members of the SEC, that does mean you have video review available throughout the year. The difference between non-conference and conference play is non-conference review is on site. Conference play, it's all centrally done out of Birmingham at the conference offices. As a foul here on Texas will buy a little bit more breathing room for Houston. So in Texas with the lone goal back in the 11th minute. That means the Cougars are perhaps just one mistake away from finding that equalizer, but here comes Missimo trying to find that insurance goal. Byers at the top of the 18. Trinity Byers with a sidestep, and it's The back line of Houston trying to salvage things. Is there a handball in the box? They say no, but it is a corner kick for Texas. Trinity Byers, a little trademark hurdle of a defender with the goalkeeper off her line, but kudos to that back line of Houston, able to pick up the slack in the absence of Dietrich for the moment. Dietrich's own teammate swings at that ball, keeping it away from the goalkeeper. Shimkin. And again, that's the newest Shimkin, Chloe Shimkin. You learn more about her teammate Jilly. Jilly, who stepped in the absence of Julio Grosso a couple years ago, but her sister literally wearing the number of Grosso now these days. Nismo with a second bite at the apple. Back from Byers, Lexi's service to the back post, looking for MJ Cox. Houston has it well enough marked, at least as well as you could mark. Again, number 23 at 5'10" target. Houston has survived back-to-back quality opportunities, including this last one where Mismo found her favorite target from 2 years ago.
And this is textbook on how to defend a really good player. See how the Houston defender is goal side and ball side, so that it doesn't allow MJ Cox to get a clear look on goal. So Houston doing a good job of posting up on Cox, not letting her just get an easy chance to challenge Dietrich.
Yeah, tip of the cap to Ramsey Davis, just an inch shorter than MJ, able to keep that ball away from her. Byers in the box again, threatening. That one in the outside netting. It takes a deflection. It'll be another corner for the Longhorns. 3 corners here in the early 4 minutes of the second half. Lexi Mismo, 51 career assists to go with her 44 goals. See what she has in mind. She'll keep it low, looking for Shimkin, a little dummy effort. That allowed Montgomery a chance to send one on frame. Now the Cougars just weathering this storm here coming out of the locker room.
Kind of similar, Lincoln, to the start of the first half, right? It just seemed like they were absorbing, and there's just so much you can do until you kind of break. And that allowed that Lexi Missimo goal early in the first half, so they do need to weather this storm and try and get a hold of the ball and get it on the other side of the pitch, give their defenders a bit of a rest, and hope that this kind of burst of energy from these new players for Texas calms down a little bit.
Again, there are a couple of changes to start the second half. You heard us mention Chloe Shimkin. Olivia Hearns out there as well. Back for her junior year out of West Vancouver, British Columbia. We saw Hearn make 15 appearances last year, all off the bench, find 3 goals. Byers, a little heavy of a touch that got away from her, but able to secure it out wide to Lapamarta. Playing with Shimkin. And Chloe Shimkin, the second freshman to get on the pitch tonight for Texas, along with Villarreal. Chloe Shimkin arrived during the spring. Byers able to turn in the box, back post, just a tad tall. That was Ashlyn Miller, who possibly could have cleaned it up. But it is still just 1 goal on the board for the Longhorns.
A really good turn here. Back to her defender, just puts it to the side and then lifts the ball toward that back post. Again, kind of hard to tell if she was maybe shooting for that back corner or looking for the cross there, but it shows how quickly Byers can turn. We've seen a couple of really good chances for her here early. Seems hungry that she wants to get one here in the second half.
As Dietrich will send it back up towards midfield. That's where it finds Chloe Shimkin. As again, the dribbles from Charlotte Richardson, the sophomore, for Houston. Shimkin picks her pocket as Mismo on her left hip. Mismo to the inline. Well defended by Houston. 7 minutes already gone here in the second half. A quick probe into the box. It'll be another corner kick here for the Longhorns.
Corner kick, Texas.
Already the fourth corner of this second half for Lexi Mismo and the 7th-ranked Longhorns. Mismo's service near post, a team save there from the back line for the Cougars. Mismo will keep it in the attacking third. We'll say Miller's on Sun. As 2 defenders clamp down, a handful of shirt, and there's the foul. As otherwise they were going to let Miller, all smiles, play with the advantage. They may need a third to mark 27. It's not just Mismo and Byers these days here in Alston. Here's Mismo with another set piece along the perimeter of the box. Longhorns looking to double their lead into the masses. Back post again, looking for a hungry MJ Cox.
So take a look here at the set piece, a little bit closer and a driven ball back post, but look how all those white jerseys are trying to front her, so she can't just tap it in. But she's so good at finding just a little bit of space. Those connections are going to clean up as the year goes on. Remember, MJ Cox been out a long time with that knee injury. So as soon as she can get that timing down on those set pieces, it's going to be a real threat for Texas.
Anna Wesh on the ball when she is fouled, so this will stay with the Longhorns. Of course, MJ did not get to play with her sisters Sydney last year. Had to be a spectator for Sydney's final year here in Alston. Their parents, mom played college basketball at Vanderbilt, dad lacrosse at Stanford. And we can officially report that Mia Justice is on the field here in the second half. If we'd gone any longer, I believe an usher was going to ask her for her ticket. She does not mind being a spectator for long stretches here. Currently working with a 0 in goals allowed on the 2024 campaign. As Houston will get a piece of this one and force Texas to settle for a throw across the wing. You see Alex Whitcraft, every night starter last year for the Cougars. All 18 matches. They'd love to get her in the air on the ball. Try to clean one up, perhaps for an equalizer off a set piece.
Coach Frias said that Whitcraft might actually be their best player on the team and anchoring that defense, but is so quick, has a great touch, super competitive, really smart player.
Texas will play this into touch. Ramsey Davis for Houston back in midfield, cramping up. She had dropped about 5 seconds earlier. Chloe Shipkin spotted that. They would get play halted as... Well, we mentioned some of these Texas players have been around long enough. Perhaps we should be calling them doctor.
I was going to say, I was cramping walking to the bathroom, so I don't know how these guys are playing in this heat. And it's tough to get used to in Texas, especially if you're not used to it. We're talking about the Shimkins, and they're from up north. You know, there was a transfer for Julie Shimkin coming out of Penn State, the New York area. And so it's getting used to this heat is real challenging. And we're just in an air-conditioned booth up here. These players have to adjust to the rigor of doing 2-a-days before their first games. And you can see U of H as well have had 2 exhibitions already. That's a lot of playing time for players like Davis.
We have some soccer fans here.
Ramsey Davis, who went to IMG Academy, the same school that produced Chloe Shimkin, while Jilly Shimkin actually went to Southside High School in New York, same school as a certain national team standout, Crystal Dunn. Right now it's the Longhorns up 1-0. As Lexi Mismo back in the 11th minute opened up her account for her senior campaign.
Big time ball in behind, out of the defense. Again, new player with Haugen coming in, and just a breakaway. That's their situation they have a lot, Texas, is they just seem to get in behind defenses and have a lot of time to try to line up their shot against the goalkeeper. Not a lot of pressure on them. And Missimo, what's been so dangerous about her is she's been so clinical. I mean, it seems like every time she gets a clear shot, she puts it away. Very consistent in that regard. So they just want to continue that type of efficiency when they do have, for sure, shots on goal.
Opportunity for Houston, but this will come all the way back to midfield. Again, that makes it 45 career goals for Lexi Missimo. And Trinity Byers, her own teammate, is the individual she's hunting on those all-time charts. Those two are going to finish 1 and 2, obviously, by the time they are hearing their names called for their professional careers. And with all the seniors and fifth-year seniors, again, we've seen a couple of freshmen sprinkled in who will know nothing other than playing in the SEC for Ange Kelly in Texas. We saw Amalia Villarreal in the first half. We're seeing younger sister of Jilly Shimkin, Chloe, here in the second half. Here is Chloe Shimkin. Flag is up, though, offside. A little too much pep in that step for the newcomer. Speaking of pep, her dog's name is Pep after a certain coach over in Europe.
Inspiration for Coach Kelly at Guardiola. She basically said that he is like her kind of icon in terms of coaching and someone that she really looks up to. So not surprising that those two are a good fit for each other.
Well, Texas wants to win a treble in their own right, looking for a regular season conference tournament and, of course, the final match of the year in the College Cup. One day at a time. Season opener here in 2024. And Rose, Jessica Stamp with you tonight here on SEC Network Plus. Great to have you with us. Producer Brandon Rudy leading the way, the talented crew. Nicole, our director, calling the shots. And Montgomery will get a breather here, back over the bench. Again, lots of familiar faces on that bench.
Well, and how huge is it, Lincoln, that Carly Montgomery moved into that slot last year for MJ Cox in the center of the defense and got that experience and got to play. I mean, she wouldn't have played probably as much last year because of Cox, but because of that experience, she now has that maturity and she just is coming right back and into the fold real easily.
Juliet Moore sends this one up ahead, looking to test MJ Cox, who is pushed off the ball. Little veteran move here by Maddox, looking for the equalizer. Look, they're going to let it play. Mia Justice tested, wondering where the foul was on her center back. Did not give up on the play.
Well, and you were talking about taking it one game at a time. I mean, the truth is they're only up by 1 goal, and this could have easily been a goal for Maddox there. She just got unlucky that she couldn't quite get the bend that she wanted, and Justice read it really well.
And just a few seconds later, Byers on the other end.
But that goes to show you that you can't look ahead, right? You can't be like, well, we're focused on an SEC championship and winning a national title. You've got Houston right here today, and they're within 1, and it only takes 1 chance, and they've tied this game up. So for Texas, they can't take their foot off that gas pedal. They need more goals here and pull away from Houston, because immediately you just saw there, it only takes 1, and they're back in this.
Well, for the final half hour, I think Texas knows that they feel a hand in the back. Don't go down. You are not going to be given any favors. Mia Justice called upon to make that save to preserve the goal advantage. And Olivia Hearn has come on this second half. Abby Allen out there as well for Texas among the returners. Longhorns flirting with the attacking third here. And as the sun has set on this Thursday evening, will Trinity Byers open up her account tonight here on the 2024 campaign? A brace last year in Houston. Again, of their first 7 meetings with the Cougars, last year was the first time the two met with a conference win on the line. Houston was left out of the Big 12 postseason tournament. But we mentioned 12 teams out of 16 will make it to Kansas City this year for the Big 12. They're going to play at that great new venue, home of the KC Current of the NWSL, the first soccer-specific stadium built for women's soccer. Of course, they were in Kansas City for 7 years over at Swope Soccer Village. Texas hosted last year, both here on campus and in Round Rock. A little home field advantage paid off for Ange Kelly and company before leaving for the SEC. And Shimkin looking for a run there from Missimo.
Well, I asked Coach Kelly about, what do you want to see out of this weekend, these first couple games, and she said, I want us to pick up where we left off last year. We were playing really, really well at the end of the year. Just came up, like you said, against a really tough Florida State team that was the best team in the country and ended up winning the national championship deservedly. But she wants to build upon where they were at that point last year and get even better instead of feeling like we're starting over. They want to be as good now as they were at the end of last year so that they can try to push to get into that College Cup and vie for that national championship.
Again, the expectations, the standards certainly were upped when Lexi Missimo arrived that spring of 2021. Trinity Byers would soon be reunited with her childhood friend and teammate. You got the goal-scoring production that Texas had often lacked. Trinity Byers last year in non-conference play was already in double-digit goals. As Texas looking for that elusive insurance goal, we'll have a goal kick here for Dietrich. But there were years, at least almost a decade, that Texas's leading goal scorer might have 5 goals for the entirety of the season before Byers and Missimo made that look like a good couple of outings in non-conference play.
Yeah, I remember on that list we saw the highest goal scorers for Texas. Kelsey Carpenter was on there, and I remember some years with Kelsey Carpenter that was the case. Like, there were not that many goals. But the other players, this just shows how good Trinity Byers and Lexi Missimo are and how good Coach Kelly has been these last few years. They are basically amongst players that were here 20 years ago. They were playing when I was playing. So Kelly McDonald, a player, was playing when I was playing, and also Kelly Wilson. That was a long time ago. So that kind of shows you how good these two players are, that they have gotten to the top of that list of goal scorers for Texas. It has taken 20 years to overcome Kelly McDonald and Kelly Wilson on that list. And luckily for Texas, they got to meet Kelly McDonald last year. They got to kind of see the type of person she's become as a grown-up. Coach Kelly talked about how much they really admired seeing Kelly McDonald as an adult. She's a dentist now in Denver, has a family, and it's important to her to see these players grow as people and not just focus on the numbers and things like going pro and things like, the things that ultimately 20 years from now they are going to look back on. It's becoming good people. And so I think that's what's cool about these two coaches especially, is they really value that kind of personal connection with the players. I think it's special in the college game that a lot of coaches have that. Now, I'm still friends with my college coach, and you almost become like this really close-knit family for the rest of your life. That's what she wants for these players. And I think that's why Lexi Missimo and Trinity Byers came back to Texas to play and not go pro. They feel that connection, and they want to get a national championship for Coach Kelly.
Houston will play, presumably the next few moments, down a player as they were just dealing with cramps. Injured player has made her way off the pitch. Looks like shouldn't be gone for too long. Still waiting to confirm a number before we mention who's out. But you see who's in for Texas. Holly Ward, who got the start. Chloe Shimkin got the start here in the second half. And Jordan Johnson, JJ, in for starter Casey Maddox. Bree Hills-Centiger, that's a big deal for Houston. And she makes her return here in the season opener. We'll have more in just a moment. See Talia Foggin had 8 appearances off the bench last year. But Bree, homecoming for the Austin native, went to Vista Ridge High School, initially signed with Pittsburgh before coming back to play for Houston. You'll see her wearing the number 14. Back on Valentine's Day. Of course, that fell on February 14th this year, and she'll always remember that. Might be tough for her to have a Valentine's Day. Just That is the birthday of her firstborn child, Violet. So she has her own built-in cheering section at every match. Longhorns still with that goal from Lexi Missimo back in the 11th minute. Up 1-0 on Houston, a much improved Cougar team now here in year 3 for Jaime Frias. Testing themselves, and he said he was not going to shy away from a chance to open up their season on the road against a top 25 foe. Miller looking for Byers. Will still try to win this opportunity for the Longhorns. And Houston able to avoid any miscues there at the top of their own box. MJ Cox has had her opportunities on set pieces already tonight. Missimo with 3 teammates ahead of her, including a familiar one, Trinity Byers. Byers beats her defender, but a good job making up the space in the box. And Lapamarda and Texas will regroup from midfield. And Texas did win the conference tournament, but perhaps with an MJ Cox could have been a regular season back-to-back champion as well. Probably a better seed that doesn't collide with Florida State that early in the round of 16. And she'll have a chance to,
as I can tell you, these colleges and universities, some sports teams have tournaments, but one of them is something that's not. The only sports they have tournaments every year after regular season. Always basketball, baseball, soccer, softball,
Byers in the box. Trinity
lacrosse,
trying to slip one through the wickets. But so far, Olivia Dietrich has just allowed one ball to get past her back in the first half.
And even
so quick and glides on the ball, just getting opportunity.
and even swimming and diving, I guess, but I don't know.
In the second half. But as Houston
even field hockey,
back, it's just getting more and more clogged inside that box, so it's getting a little harder.
But the only sport that's not have tournaments is football. Because football, they only have college football playoffs.
The ball a little bit better. We don't have to go direct every single
like a bowl
time.
game until like a national championship. But speaking of a bowl, like the college football playoff bowl games, they have expanded to 12-team playoffs this time. This is very brand new. But from the other years, they do not.
Of course, Olivia Dietrich, her time at Texas Tech was behind probably one of the better goalkeepers Tech has ever had in Maddie White, at least in recent years. Missimo trying to find Byers. Flag is up. Trinity Byers doesn't even bother to try to put the punctuation on that.
Offside for our team. Oh my goodness.
And she doesn't want to spoil the celebration when she breaks through for the first time this year.
That play makes me nostalgic. I'm like, oh yeah, remember those scoop balls that Lexi Missimo used to do to Trinity Byers in behind last year? There were some that were just crazy little scoops, and it would drop for Byers, and she would put it away. A lot of those happened at the beginning of last year, so that's also a danger, as you'll see Missimo just kind of dump balls in behind the defense if there's any space.
That was all the way back in 2023.
Gosh.
Back in those Big 12 conference days, if you can remember that back that far.
That's right. Other conference they were in.
Toss in here from Foggin for Houston. Look, the Cougars have kept this within a single miscue from Texas of possibly pulling even. In this game, it does not matter how much more possession you might have, how many more shots you might have. If you can't put your opponent away, it just takes one brief hiccup, and it's a brand new ball game. Cougars will try to keep this opportunity alive. Service at the top. And it's a clever little effort from Juliette Moore, but it's not going to get past Mia Justice without more pace. Again, Moore, who played in the SEC at Mississippi State. After growing up in Dallas, she's going to be playing a little bit more forward in this formation than she did last year for Houston. Byers with a couple of Cougars tugging on her.
So surrounded there, just surrounded by 3 players.
It's like those post-match autograph sessions.
They attract attention. I mean, those two especially are going to be on the boards for teams when they're looking at their scouting report. So it's a matter of, can Texas figure out who's open? I mean, if 3 players are on you, that means 2 players are open.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, can you get the ball quickly out to those outlet players that have space?
Hannah Wesh along the left wing to Holly Ward. Mismo will ping it back to Lapamarta. And they'll let Mia Justice get involved once again. Justice's most recent save denying Juliet Moore and her effort from the top of the box a moment ago. Byers, little subtle touchdown to Mismo. Her laser goes just wide of the near post from distance. Olivia Dietrich wasn't just going to hope that it was off the mark, and she leaves her feet.
This is what's sick about this connection between Byers and Mismo. Mismo is running to get the ball 1 touch off of Byers before it even reaches her. So she's making how I'm knowing Trinity Byers is going to lay it to her 1 time, 1 touch, and then she gets that shot off. So that's what's kind of hard to defend, is how do you defend something like that? It's almost like they have this telepathic connection, and it's just so hard to adjust and read that. It's just so fast.
71st minute underway. For the past 60, it's been Texas up 1-0. Cougars trying to change that here. Again, the Maddox sisters, their first official match together as teammates for the Cougars.
Uh-oh. Well, one of our players is down a bit, but and they just got back up.
Holly Ward,
kind of a little slowly to get back up, and I think she's feeling pretty fine right now. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the cramp or something, I don't know. But, I don't know. Not sure. I don't know what to say, but, I don't know.
Rogan with the assist tonight. Will it be a game-winning assist? And she found Lexi Missimo. As Dietrich will have this one. Find her 17 yards off her line.
We were talking about the nostalgia of last year, and the truth is Texas was Houston's biggest loss last year. They really got beat by Texas badly, 6-1, and that one that Houston scored was kind of a garbage time goal. It was at the very end of the game, but they gave up a lot of goals. So far this performance is great.
Service from Ward, and it'll find again the fingertips of Olivia Dietrich. Inside of 18 minutes to go here in regulation. And of course, for the past few years, regulation's all we get. If it ends in a draw, no overtime. This is the 3rd year of the new policy. Of course, you and I had that Big 12 championship that was 0-0 between TCU and West Virginia. West Virginia got a goal from almost 70 yards out on a free kick, and fireworks were launched. Somebody didn't get the memo that there were no more golden goals. Have to play the full 20. Well, we've seen a few players get in off the bench tonight for Ange Kelly, but you imagine the rest of that bench is hoping a crooked number winds up on the scoreboard, and maybe a few of them see their first collegiate minutes before the end of the night. Ward able to keep it in play, has 2 Cougars clamping down. Able to keep this one alive for Missimo. And they'll say no foul in the box that brought Ward down. They play on. The Jocelyn Alonso come back in for Houston in a minute. For head coach Jaime Frias, but not just yet. And Avery Clark among the reserves, seeing minutes tonight. Lapamarda looking to find Trinity Byers in the box. Instead, a throw coming up. Again, when Mismo sends those opportunities airborne, that's when the jaws drop of fans who have seen it in the past. Doesn't connect that time, but it'll be a corner kick for Lexi Mismo after unable to dial up Avery Clark.
And by doing those types of opportunities, you get more corner kicks because you're sending balls into an area that have to be cleared fast.
Mismo with a goal tonight, trying to share the wealth. If she can find a teammate. Houston survives another corner kick from Texas. Mia Justice quickly will get this ball back on track. And she's 50 yards off her goal line. And just off the mark, looking for Ward.
I do think something Coach Kelly's going to talk about, because it's been a point of emphasis since last year, is being better on corner kicks. Being way more dangerous. Got to get on the end of these. Got to challenge the goalkeeper. Every single one should be a dangerous opportunity. So with MJ Cox back, there's really no reason why the corner kicks shouldn't be constantly threatening the opponent. So I think that's going to still be a point of emphasis for her. But last year it was very apparent that loss of MJ Cox. They just didn't have the presence on set pieces without her. So that's going to continue to be something that they're going to work on here early in the season is can we just be a little bit more dangerous on those set pieces when we have that height.
You saw Bree Hilsentinger subbed off for Houston, but that is a small victory for her as well, seeing her first collegiate soccer action after sitting out all of last year. And finally becoming a mother in February. Already back to competing at the Division I level. Meanwhile for Texas, you saw a rare sub of Trinity Byers as she comes off for fellow starter Jilly Shimkin. Lexi Mismo still, I believe she has a few teammates who can find the back of the net if called upon. As Wesh determined to keep that ball for the Burnt Orange. Up the spine here, Ahern. Texas with numbers flooding the 18, but offside. Flag is up across the way.
You see Shimkin on that far right taking over for Trinity Byers, who was pushed out wide when Avery Clark actually came in to post up in that center striker position. So Shimkin is actually a forward right now, technically. But you see a lot of that. You'll see Shimkin play in the midfield, play up top, same with Ashlyn Miller, right? That's what Coach Kelly wants, is more dynamic play where you can kind of do both. You can play in the midfield, play up top. It's more about, for Coach Kelly, about being aware of space and how to take space. So you'll see them kind of interchange on the front line as well as in the middle.
Boy, that's Savannah Tafare, the freshman from Frisco, who's determined to track down that ball. She was a club teammate with Texas's Villarreal. And she was tired of waiting for a teammate to win a ball for her and find her on a run. But in the end, Longhorns will not concede a shot on Mia Justice's goal. Mismo has Ward at the left elbow, and they'll have to settle for a throw. And we're going to possibly double dip when it comes to Shimkins, as Chloe appears ready to sub back in. So we've seen the two Maddox sisters share the field together today for Houston. Now for Chloe and Jilly Shimkin.
Wow, that's kind of pretty interesting. They're kind of sisters and they're siblings.
Are you surprised Lexi Mismo handling this throw-in?
I'd be surprised if she does a flip throw.
Okay.
That's always fun to see, and long throws are fun to see. But what's interesting, obviously, Miss
Here we go.
tends to play a lot, but this is where they're going to test their fitness right now. Are they all fit? Have they done well?
Chloe Shimkin again, Houdini, able to work her way after being locked down by a defender into an open look on goal.
But have they done well in the preseason to be prepared for a shot like that? Or are they too tired? Are they too tired to take that shot? Or are they fit enough that they're playing just as aggressive, just as fast as they were at the beginning of the game? So that's what you're going to see here from Houston and from Texas, is are they ready to go in terms of fitness? Because this is when you start getting really tired in the heat for the end of the game, especially some of these players have been playing the entire game. So it's a matter of, can you capitalize if a team is starting to get a little sluggish?
Houston within striking range of finding that equalizer, but it won't come there. They have held Texas to just that one lonely goal back in the 11th minute from Leximissimo. And it means at any given moment, they could pull this one level against the 17th ranked Longhorns. And Chloe Shimkin. In your left back, Lapamarta, part of this triangle with Shimkin, as well as Avery Clark. Back to Carly Montgomery. She thought she had a goal against LSU last year in that matchup. It was waived. I think many believe errantly. Could have been a much different match if it had counted. Instead, the match got away from Texas. That was here in Austin. They'll go to Baton Rouge this year with a conference victory on the line. MJ Cox looking to chip one up ahead to that front line. We're approaching the final 10 minutes of this season opener. Texas up by a goal.
We're in the lead, 1-0.
Shimkin being defended by Bryn Geppert, the freshman from Wiley East High School, who was doing everything she could to frustrate her fellow freshmen. And Dietrich in goal, just a sophomore. Houston will have a great anchor for a couple more years to go. Davis. Texas not just returning all 11 starters from last year's NCAA tournament team, but returning a center back in MJ Cox, as well as the addition of Haugen from Georgia. And minutes are going to be hard to come by, no matter how well you are training in practice. This is a Houston team, not only saw Texas last year in conference play, but they met again this spring. They knew they would have their hands full, but at the moment, there's still a good outcome for them on the horizon, perhaps, if they can find a goal in the final 8.5 minutes here. That's an understatement, by the way, if they can leave Austin, even with a draw.
Well, it's looking possible at this point. I mean, they've had some good looks, and it's just they haven't been able to get close enough to Justice to really challenge her. I think if you're shooting from the 18, it's going to be tough to beat Justice. It would have to be a perfect upper 90 placement to beat her from that distance. So can they try and take some risks? You know, Coach Frey has kind of talked about how if they lose, by multiple goals, it is the same as losing by 1 goal. You've still lost. So he's not afraid to send numbers. He doesn't want a bunker. He doesn't want to just drop in and play for a tie or play for a 1-0 loss. He wants to take risks and see if they can get on some of these crosses and challenge Justice a bit more.
Yeah, we saw that last year. Certainly Davis will have the throw here coming up for Houston, well into the attacking third for the Cougars here on the road tonight. Maddox lays it off. Is this a corner kick for the Cougars? It is. So this back line of Texas will be tested on a set piece, handled here by Juliet Moore. Can Justice again climb above the rest of the masses and squeeze this in? Top of the 6, Mia Justice again calls her own number. And a counter back underway. Trinity Byers, after a brief respite, back on the pitch. Byers with 2 defenders looking to split them. There have been better back lines that she has beaten with the ball similar to that. Kudos again to Houston. But the reward is now Texas back on the front foot. Missimo. Byers back to Lexi, looking for a brace. Lexi Missimo denied by Dietrich. It'll be a corner kick coming up, but for now, the goalkeeper for Houston has kept it 1-0.
Yeah, my goodness, it was a great stop from Alex Whitcraft, but then she got beat by the 1-2, the wall pass. Luckily for her, Dietrich read that, came out fast to cut down that angle on Missimo. Great save there in the post.
Just the 7th shot on goal for Texas tonight after scoring 6 last year in Houston. And no Longhorn in the area of that ball. And the ball back over to the Cougars. They can catch their breath. Some nervy moments here inside of 6 minutes to go. Houston will do everything they can to find that equalizer. Head coach Jaime Frias did not bring an intimidated bunch into Mike A. Myers Stadium. As Dietrich gets us back underway. How about Chloe Shimkin checking in at all of 5'1", being the physical one on that ball to help win it back for Texas?
Yeah, she's been a spark plug, really, right? On this left side, she's gotten an end line and caused some issues dealing with her defender in a 1v1 capacity.
Maddox, Casey Maddox. Does the freshman find a memorable first goal for Houston here tonight? She'll advance the effort. It's her sister running at the top of the formation. And Houston is doing this without their second leading scorer. Their Big 12 all-freshman team standout, Ariana Jemison, the sophomore, who is spending her birthday today as a spectator. Looking forward to rejoining her teammates. But still working her way back from injury, and Texas, a little veteran move here. A little extra time melting off that clock before MJ Cox heaves it back in. Moore. Maddox. And the Longhorns stay disciplined. Davis with the service to the top of the penalty spot. And a foul on Houston will end this opportunity, and a yellow card, I believe, will come out for the first time tonight against Maddox. Cameron Maddox wanted that moment, wanted that equalizer.
Before the foul there was some good play from Houston. They were being patient, they were swinging it across the face, and then trying to send it into the box with numbers. Just hasn't been quite enough of that. I think something they're going to talk about is they just didn't quite take care of the ball enough when they had it. But that was a great sequence where they kept the ball. They had about 4 or 5 passes before they sent it across the box.
Boy, Texas was looking to quickly go the other way, trying to find that elusive second goal. Instead, here comes Houston again with Ramsey Davis. Lapo keeps it in play. Lauren Lapomarta I believe last year we saw her at times playing with a broken nose. Finally, just threw her face mask to the ground in the middle of one match, said, "I'm over with it. I'm okay getting injured again." But we talk about somebody as tough as they come. Missimo trying to test those center backs in. Oh, that's a bad time for a cramp to catch up with you, but fighting through it. Anna Reza knew what was on the line if she didn't get to that ball. And Texas might still be able to make the Cougars pay here. You have both Shimkins at the top of the 18 with Byers and Missimo sandwiched in between. Here's Trinity. And the Cougars at the moment ward off any opportunity. Let's see if Texas has some mercy on Houston with a player still down. Again, that was Anna Reza who made that extended run even after the cramp kicked in to make sure she got to that ball before Texas could find a vulnerable goalkeeper.
And for sure could have been catastrophic there, as I saw that back pass, and Dietrich almost seemed like she wasn't quite expecting the back pass with that pace, but they both handled it really well, and I love that kind of gutsiness on that cramping to just try to poke it away from the Texas player. I mean, Texas does not have to stop when that happens, so they could have picked that off real easily, but some great character shown there. And they know Houston. They're close. They're close. They just need a good opportunity here in the waning seconds. A lot of teams will steal points, steal wins at the end of the game in that last 5 minutes, that big five, when there are subs on the field. When
30 for 30.
Tired legs.
9 p.m. to 11 p.m.
That also
ES2 HD.
right, where you're kind of just
Channel 851.
because you're tired and you might kind of be in the wrong positioning. Gaps open up. So Houston knows that they have the talent up top, like Cameron Maddox, to just get that one chance to put it in. So for Texas, this is an early lesson that you can't let teams hang around that have talented players.
Texas is back here on Sunday. They will host Cal State Bakersfield. You and I have the luxury to look ahead. The Longhorns are not going to look past Houston here with still 2.5 minutes to go.
I'll tell you something. These women's soccer teams are like really good, but this year is going to be successful. Like, man, it's my year number 2 watching it. Here we go.
So Lexi Missimo's first goal of the season, the 45th of her career, has had Texas in front since the 11th minute. Byers has beaten the defense. Trinity Byers again denied by Dietrich. What a night for Olivia Dietrich. And it's still not over.
Another brilliant ball in behind here from Julie Shimkin, going along the sideline there and then just curling it behind the defense. You see Whitcraft beat by that ball perfectly. Again, breakaway, 1v1 on the goalkeeper, but Dietrich has been up to the challenge. You know that's in the scouting report. They're gonna get the ball behind our defense. So Dietrich off her line fast, cut down that angle and was big. Got down to the floor, so it was really tough for Byers to slip that pass. 6
saves tonight. There's only been one ball she hasn't been able to stop. And at the moment, that's the difference maker. Offside flag was up on Texas. The reason for the restart here for Houston deep in their own end as we're approaching the final minute. Byers. That's a tough tackle right there on the perimeter of the box as Houston takes it away. They were hoping Maddox could run on that ball, and instead it's Texas trying to distort the final score line a little. As Dietrich saying, we're not playing out of the back with 40 seconds to go down a goal. See if she can dial up a teammate up at midfield. The Cougars team that all time against top 25 foes, 3 wins, 7 losses, and a draw, have been a handful tonight against a Texas team that did not play a preseason match. Instead, Ange Kelly scheduling a Big 12 foe to open up the 2024 slate, a year with high expectations for Texas. Final seconds counting down. The Longhorns will find their first win.
That'll do it, and we won this game. And our score is 1-0. Go Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, it's a good opening victory, especially considering they didn't have those exhibition games. They really didn't look too rusty to me. They looked pretty good, Texas. It's just a matter of being a bit more efficient.
This is how we made a first win.
Death, Taxes, and Lexi Missimo here on the 40 acres finding the back of the net.
Sure things, aren't they? For sure, but Cougars got.
This is how we win the first home game of the season.
Defensively to get through, and of course, the star of the game for them was Olivia Dietrich in the net.
Houston hosts Sam Houston this Sunday. Texas will be back here against Cal State Bakersfield. We'll be back here in just a few minutes after this break here on SEC Network Plus.
And we're back to wrap the things up.
Demonstrate.